Guru, or 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 Guru. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji. Okay, so Guru Pyari Sat Sangat Ji, why is it so important that we learn to stop our thoughts? Because people want to know what sin is. Sin is when we take one thought outside of hukam. How do we know if we're taking thoughts in hukam? How do we not know? We covered before. What is hukam? Hukam is naam. It says eko naam, hukam hai. Hukam and naam are the same thing. So if you can't learn to listen to naam while taking your thoughts, what does it mean? It makes your mind into what? Pop. That's why when we close our eyes, if the mind sits behind the eyes, how come you don't see Prakash? You don't see it because the mind is what? Blacked out. Like if these windows got no news is o do pe na jap. That's Gur Mantra. It's called Gur Shabad as the Akar. This naam is made with Akar. So it says Akri naam, Akri Sala. Akri Gyan Geet Kunga. Akri Likan Polamba. Jo everything. This naam is Ik Ong Kar. If we want to reach Ik, if we want to get back to one, what do we have to go? We have to go to Ik. The mind has to learn how to hear that Om. So we have to first learn to listen to our voice. Because Waheguru is doing the jap now. It says Sargun, Nirgun, Nirankar, Sun Samadhyat, Apan Ki Ananta, Ape Hi Fir. Waheguru does the job. By doing the job, how are you going to listen to Waheguru's voice? Right? So Bani gives us the jukti. It's such an easy jukti. It says, Gaviye, Man Rakhe, okay, let's go ahead. Let's make our surtis connect. We should both listen to the Sangat and we should listen to our voice together to make one tone, one sound. So we go all together on one thought. Okay? Guru, Oa, 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 Guru, Guru, Wa, 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 Guru, Guru, Wa, 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 Guru, Guru, Va, 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 You know, in today's lecture, we're going to talk about a couple things after we do the summary. One of the things we're going to talk about is when God gives you something, how do you make sure that it becomes fourfold? That means if God gives you something and it's only one thing, there's ways the value of that becomes fourfold. That means you give $1, God will make it $4. We're going to talk about why people lack faith in God. We're going to say why people don't have love for God. What's the reason for it? Sometimes you have faith, sometimes you don't. Why is that? Sometimes you wonder, what am I doing here? We're going to cover all those things because Gurbani addresses these questions. Right? But our first thing to do is, before we can understand Gurbani, we have to go ahead and begin with understanding how to jump properly. There are three types of Simran. One is Sastras, one is Sasas, one is Romo. Once you master these three, then you go into Dhyan. Dhyan is where the node Raja is closed, and you are beginning in the process of the Dasapura. Nam has to become Parvat in you first, before you can begin that Dhyan. So where does the Dhyan begin? The Dhyan begins from Sun. Sun is where everything is parted from. These five elements are parted from Sun. These three gunas of Maya are parted from Sun. Everything comes from the Sun. This is why Gurbani says, Eka Mai Jukadvai, Tinchale Praman, Ek Sansari, Ek Mundari, Ek Jani. It says Maya has Jukti. How did all of this become Maya? If this is all white, how come it It becomes Maya when the mind becomes attached to it. Once you experience me in Nirpan, come experience me in Nirpan. This is the goal. That's why it says Gurka Bachan Jap Month. Iha Bhagat Sartat. Satguru Vedya Nanak Das. Our job is to jump Guru's Bachan. Let us begin. Wa Guru. 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 Wa 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 Guru. Wa Guru. Wa Guru. Wa Guru. Wa Guru. Wa Wa Guru. Wa Guru. Guru. Wa Guru. Wa Guru. Wa Guru. Wa Wa Guru. Wa Wa Guru. Wa Guru. Wa Guru. Wa Guru. Wa Guru. Guru. Wa Guru. Wa Guru. Wa Guru. Wa Guru. Wa Guru. Wa Wa Guru. Wa 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 Guru. 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 Wa Guru, Wa, 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 Wa, Guru, 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 Wa, Wa, Guru, 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 वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा What's the importance of japa and Guru Mantra? First stage is japa. Second stage is ajap. That means it goes on all the time. You don't have to say it, it goes on. It's ajap. Third stage is anhat. You hear Vaiguru's voice, you hear the first thing we have to do is jump. Why do we have to jump? It's not for Vaiguru, it's for us. It's to bring the mind back home. When we begin jumping with our mouth, when we begin jumping with our rasana, what happens is we learn to get rid of our ogun. That's why it says rasana gun gabe hartere, mete kamate, ogun mere. What are the ogun we have? We have so many ogun because we have so many pa. Rasana to stop nindya chugli, to stop irkadwat, to stop nafrat, to stop home. And what happens is slowly by slowly we jump Guru Mantra, our mind gets filled with something good. When our mind gets filled with something good, then what happens is, first is our mouth is filled with something good, then our mind gets filled with something good. So first is japna, then is a jap. When a jap is pargat, when a jap is puran, when you're basically completed a jap, then what happens is, we'll hear Vaiguru's voice, this is nam. This nam is what we're trying to get to. With this nam, you become mukat when you hear it. Then after that, you need to samao in the nam to make sure you don't have home. Then finally, the last part of it is to sit with Vaiguru. So if you were far away in the beginning, when you started your japna, your mind learns to go inside the body to go ahead and meet Vaiguru. Then you learn to listen to Vaiguru, so you're connected, but you're not close yet. And in the last stage, you learn to be no different than Vaiguru himself. These are the stages that are given in Gurbani. So we have to ask ourselves, if we're a Gursik, what do we follow? So Satguru Sikh ko naam dande. A Guru ka Sikh with paki hai. Until Satguru gives you naam tan, you're not a Gursikh. You're just a Sikh. Sikh's job is to jap. How does he jap? He does saskara, sas, om, Simran. Then when you get to Nantan, you become lucky because you're Gursikh. You belong to the Guru because you gave over your mat. Only in this Manas Janam can you give over your mat. So how do we get rid of this mat? Okay? You know, there are different names for the mind: mat, chit, surt, buddh. First, we're going to do the japna. We're going to listen to our voice. We're going to do the Guru Mantra and one sound together, and then we're going to begin the lecture. Okay? Let's begin. Wa Guru, 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 Guru Begin tonight's lecture. But before we begin, I just wanted to go through a few things. We got a camp coming up in Vancouver in 2 weeks. One thing is, I know some people were expecting Pajit Singh to be there in Vancouver. He won't be coming this time. But then we have a camp in England for 5 days. Over there, we're going to be opening up a Gurdwara. It's going to be the largest Gurdwara in the world. It's 120,000 square feet. All your meals will be taken care of. Everything's done. So we'll just do Nam Abhyas over there. All the stages will be practical changing. Third thing is, Gurmukh Pero is, if you have any questions, just let me know about any of the camps or accommodations if you're coming to them so that we can make sure everything's ready. Okay, so let's start. 3 important parts to your spiritual life that are very important. You need to do Simran, you need Gurbani, and you need Jivan Jaj. We all know the difference between Simran and meditation. What's the difference? One path makes you meet Waheguru, the other path just goes ahead and gives you temporary happiness. For example, if you want to go ahead and imagine something, you can meditate on it, you might get some peace. You might not get any thoughts during the process. The reason why is because you're in the jal. The battle becomes when you try to kill the thoughts and you're getting out of the jal. That's where the battle begins. Simran is the process of Klaje to enter into the Dasam. Our job is to get into Dasam Dwar because that's a home for the mind. Second thing is, where do you learn everything? You learn everything from Satguru Sri Guru Granth Sahib. If you don't learn it from Satguru Sri Guru Granth Sahib and it's not Gurmat compliant, then you know 99 to 100% of the time it's wrong. Gurbani tells us you have to follow Gurmat 100%. How come people are not good in their Simran? They say, I've been doing Simran so long, but my thoughts still don't stop. It means you're not doing what? Are you following Manmat or Gurmat? Manmat. When you give your mat to the Guru, then what happens is you will have absolutely no vichar. That's why you have to study the Gurbani to understand what areas you have to improve. Third thing, practical application of all of it is living your life. If you still lie, you still cheat, you still steal, you still do nindya, you still do chugli, you still get krodhi, you still have hankar, you still have home about small things. What happens is, are you implementing or living the Gurbani? Absolutely not. So what's the point of you doing Simran? Why do you follow Satguru Sri Guru Granth Sahib? You can't pick and choose. You have to follow it 100%. If you don't follow it 100%, it doesn't mean from the beginning you have to do it, but as you educate yourself, what happens is you have to go ahead and follow it 100%, otherwise it doesn't work. So, today's lecture we're going to talk about faith. You know, Pratit is faith over there. Sometimes people, they don't have faith. They lose faith along the way. They don't put their faith in the right things. Oftentimes we put our faith into people, we don't put it into Waheguru. So as we go ahead and we struggle in our lives, the question is, why don't we have enough faith in Waheguru to go ahead and resolve the things? What's the source of our anxiety? What's the source of our worry? How come we lack this faith? 3 reasons why you don't have faith from Gurbani. First thing is you don't do japna. That's why you don't have faith. The people who do japna in Gurmat, not just any way, but in Gurmat, Saskras, Sasas, Rom, they have faith. When you get done with the Simran, don't you have a lot of faith? When you're not doing Simran, that's when the questions begin. Second thing is, you do not believe in Satguru. As much as you want to say you believe in Satguru Sri Guru Granth Sahib, if you don't follow it 100%, if you don't study it every day, if you don't live it, the reality is all your faith is fake. I'm not saying that Gurbani says it. I'll go through the quote. Why don't you have faith? Because you have no love of Nam. That means some people here, they hear the Nam, but they haven't fallen in love with the Nam. They don't know what it means to live without that Nam. If you go ahead and you get that Nam taken away, you don't know the pain and suffering that you'll feel. You have to fall in love with the Nam. Why haven't you samawed in the Nam? Why haven't you merged in the Nam? Is because you haven't fallen in love with it. And until you fall in love with the Nam, you can't have the faith that you need to go ahead 100% of the time. Okay, this is what Gurbani says. This faith and the Lord of the universe and peace are found by doing what? Doing jap. The word here, over here, not meditating, it is jap on God. You get faith from what? Doing japna. We know you get a lot of things from japna. You get your home gone, all your dukh is gone, all your pap is gone. But the other thing you get from doing japna is faith. If you're lacking faith in God, what do you need to do? You need to do jap. Everyone is speaking in various ways, but the Guru has brought the Lord into the home of myself. That means what happens? A lot of people go ahead and they talk about Waheguru. But how many people teach you how to jap properly? So what it says, a lot of people, they say they have faith in God, but if they have faith in God, what do they do according to Gurbani? What do they do? Jap. Simar, Naam Japa. You go ahead and you have to do jap yourself, and you make others do it as well. Now, it says, without the Satguru, faith does not come, and love for Naam is not embraced. Now, we have two Satgurus. Gurbani Satguru is used for a couple different things. Sometimes, one day we'll go through all the names. Sometimes Satguru is referred to as Waheguru. Sometimes it's referred to as Jot. Sometimes it's referred to as Purna Guru. Guru Granth Sahib is called Satguru. It's a Satguru Padvi. But we also have Satguru inside of us. This is our Atam Ram. Atam Ram, which is Satguru, and Guru Granth Sahib outside, they work together. So the way it happens is sometimes we get a thought, sometimes we get an idea, and we have to see, is it compliant with Gurbani or not? Where did this idea come from? It came from Satguru. They're working together in your spiritual path. So it says, without Satguru, faith does not come. That means you need Satguru in order to have faith. Everyone here considers themselves a Sikh of the Guru. But the question is, do you have faith in Satguru Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib? Yes or no? And love for Naam is not embraced. If you go ahead and you question your own faith at times, what does it mean? It means you do not believe in Satguru. If you have a crisis of faith in Waheguru, if you doubt, a 100% guarantee, according to Gurbani, means two things. You have no love for Naam. Okay, that's fine. Some of you never heard Naam. So you say, how can I love it yet? But you definitely don't have love for Japna. Third thing, you have no love for Satguru Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib. You say you have faith, but you don't have faith. Because if you did, you would go ahead and believe 100% what Waheguru is saying. It says, even in dreams they find no peace. They sleep immersed in pain. If your supna overwhelm you, if you have so much dukh that even when you go to still have pain, does that mean you have faith in Satguru Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib? Yes or no? No. Does that mean you have love for Naam? Yes or no? No. We lack faith because of our home. I said, how can this be true? We don't like to hear what Satguru tells us because we have so much home. How come all of this is Waheguru, yet it became Maya and it became an interference? How come it became something we had to become mukat from? Because of our what? Because of our home. It says, how? In what way was the world formed, O man? And what disaster will it end in? It means, how was there everything created and how will it end? Okay? In egotism, the world was formed, O man. Forgetting Naam, it suffers and dies. When you do not know how to connect to Naam, you are in home. That's why first stage is fill the mouth with something good. Fill it with Gurmantar. One who becomes a Gurmukh contemplates the essence of spiritual wisdom. That means their Gyan is Vivek Buddh. It's Brahm Gyan. Okay? Through Shabad, he burns away his home. Does Gyan come from reading books? Does Gyan come from reading treatises? What does Japji Sahib tell us? Gyan begins at what? Where does Gyan begin? Nad. Gyan kante gyan pachan titte. Nad. Banod kod anand. If you get your Gyan from Nad, which is also Shabad Guru, can you ever have home about what you know? How many times you learn one little thing and then all you do is show off? When you get the Gyan from Nad, then that Gyan is given in such a way where it is given with love and humility. Okay? His body and his mind has become immaculate through the immaculate Bani of the word. That means it's through the Bani, it's through the unhealed Bani. And he becomes Samaud in such. Through the Nam, the name of the Lord, he remains detached. He enshrines the true name in his heart, O Nanak. Without Nam, over here the translation is wrong. It says yoga is never attained. It says yog. Over here it means the connection, the union between you and God is never made. Reflect upon this in your heart and see. Okay, here is the problem. All the seva we do, all the Bani we read, all the Simran that we're doing, are you looking for a reward in it? Are you doing it for yourself? Meaning selflessly because you're doing it because this is what Satguru tells me, or do you want something from it? I don't care if you want happiness, you say I want to meet Waheguru, anything else. You want something? Or are you doing it because, no, this is the hukum of the Guru? It should be hukum for Guru, but how many of us do it because we want something? That is not seva. That is still being selfish. Whether you want people to think that you're good, whether you want people to go ahead or you want peace, whether you want happiness, whether you want things to work out in your life. That is the reason why when you do the Simran, you get nowhere, is because you have ulterior motives. You don't know how to go ahead and do seva correctly. You have some other agenda in your mind. So it says, he himself inspires us to place our faith in him. Who inspires us to put our faith in Waheguru? Waheguru does. Okay? Thus, he performs his own seva. When we say we're doing seva, are we really doing seva? Who's doing the seva? Waheguru is doing the seva. So anytime you say, okay, now there's seva of the man, there's seva of the tan. Seva of the tan is when we do Parthan seva, we're doing this construction seva, you're doing all this other seva over here, right? But we have an ulterior agenda. We want more Sangat to come. We have an idea. We want people to go ahead and listen to Satguru Sri Guru Granth Sahib. There's an agenda still over there. We're not doing it because it's Hukum of Guru. We're doing it because we have an agenda still. We want the community to be comfortable. How many times when you make the langar is it swag? If people aren't happy with the way it tastes, then does it hurt your feelings? That means you have an ulterior agenda. You want people to praise how you made the langar. Now that's seva of the tan. Now let's talk about seva of the man. When you go ahead and do seva of the man, that's first stage is japna. Second stage is when you go ahead and listen to Shabad Guru, that's seva of Guru. Then third stage is when you learn to look with your eyes, you learn to look at Satguru. Satguru, Naduri Satguru Sevye, Darge Payata. When you go ahead and you learn to look at Satguru, then what happens? You do that seva with your eyes. But who's making you do the seva? Why? Who's doing it? Who's doing the job? Sargun Nirgun Nirankar San Samadhi Aap Apan Ki Ananka Aape Hi Fir? Who's doing the job? So how can you say you're doing it? Once you realize that even in your bhakti, Waheguru is doing it, your job is just to do. Look how much seva Waheguru does for us. How can you go ahead and say you do anything? That's where the agenda stopped. That's where the other motivations stop. You said, look how benevolent God is. He goes ahead and does everything for us. He's even doing the japna. My job is just to go ahead and listen. My job is to enjoy. Then what happens is, then you learn how to get rid of homemade this way. Now it says Nanak, faith comes into the mind of his servant. When you become a Jan, when you become a servant of Waheguru, when you become his sevak, this is when faith will come. How come you lack faith? Because you're not a what? Servant. When you're a servant, whose problems are they? When you have all the problems of the world on you, whose problems are they? Are they yours or the boss's? They're the boss's. So what happens is you say, boss, it's all your problems. You take care of it. But when you feel like the whole world is against you, when you have all the pressures of the world, why? Because you think, who's the boss? You're the boss. So are you a sevik of Waheguru anymore? No. That's why you have all the problems. It says, who continually drinks the immaculate praises of the Lord. We said, what do we have to do? We have to get rid of our ogun. How do we get rid of our ogun? We do it by doing praising of Waheguru. How often do we need to praise Waheguru? Do we just praise him for the hour that we're here? 24 hours a day. How do you do 24 hours a day? When every molecule of your body begins doing Simran, you will understand how, no matter how many Japji Sahib talks about, it's not enough to praise Waheguru. That is your profession, that is your job. Hum kirat hamre re ras. This is your duty, this is your job as a Gursikh. Okay, what are the qualities of a servant? You want to know if you're a servant of God or not? Let's go ahead and let's walk through the qualities. It says, the servant is obedient to his Lord and Master. Now, let's say you can't speak to Waheguru. You have Satguru Sri Guru Granth Sahib. Are you obedient to everything that Satguru says? Yes or no? So are you a servant? It says the servant, so you're going to have Chinta Fikr, you're going to have all the problems. You're not going to have faith. That's why you lack faith. The servant worships his Lord and Master forever. Do you do that? Yes or no? The servant of the Lord and Master has faith in his mind. He always has faith in Waheguru. Do you lack it or do you have it? The servant of the Lord and Master lives a pure lifestyle. Is your lifestyle corrupted? Do you lie? Do you cheat? Do you steal? Or is everything you do pure? Okay? It says the servant of the Lord and Master knows that the Lord is with him. Do you know where Waheguru is? Do you know how to access him? God's servant is attuned to the Nam. That means that how do you access Waheguru? It's only through Nam. God's servant is attuned to Nam, the name of the Lord. God is the cherisher of his servant. That means if you go ahead, right? Waheguru cherishes his servant. Are you a servant? Yes or no? The formless Lord preserves his servant. That means no matter what is done, you are preserved by Waheguru. Unto his servant, God bestows his mercy. That means with Waheguru's mercy, all these things are blessed upon you. O Nanak, the servant remembers him with each and every sa samare. This is a checklist of a servant. Now you have to ask yourself, are you a servant of God, yes or no? Do you meet the checklist? Equally as Gurbani tells us what not to do, Gurbani also tells us what we should be doing. We say we want to be a sevik. I was sitting in Vancouver, over there they were saying, oh, we give a lot of free langar. I said, this is not langar, Gurmukh Pyareo. They go, this is just giving free food. They go, no, it's our seva. I said, it's not your seva because do you ever discuss Waheguru? Do you remember God when you're doing it? I said, no, we just give out the food. I go, then you're just giving free meals. It's not seva. Seva is the discussion of Waheguru. It's the ability to go ahead and do everything on this checklist. That means you remember him with every breath. You're attuned to the Nam. That means you're always connected to him. Your faith is always there. Okay? So when we do the seva, do we have any other motives? Do we have any other agendas? Yes or no? But the problem is every time we come to do the seva, we always try to do negotiation. So Waheguru, I'm going to do the langar seva and then I want this. Does it work like that? How many times you try to do a negotiation with Waheguru? Almost every time you walk in the Gurdwara. It's crazy. Who are you to bargain with God? But all the time you are bargaining for what you want. Not what Waheguru wants for you, because Waheguru wants happiness, he wants sukh, he wants you to have a life where you get anything that you want. But do you do what he asks you to do? The first thing, do you do it or not? What is the first thing you're supposed to do? You're supposed to jump. Okay, now this is what it says about a manmukh. And I want you to walk through who has faith, who doesn't have faith as a sevak. So the self-willed manmukhs have no faith. They are filled with greed and self-interest. So you come to the Gurdwara, you come to negotiate. Manmukh, Manmukh. They are not Gurmukh. They do not understand the word of the Shabad in their hearts. They do not love Nam. They do not understand what Nam is. That is reason, because in Nam is everything. When the mind learns to listen to Nam, when the mind learns how to hear Waheguru's voice, when the mind learns how to drink Amrit Ras, when the mind learns how to see Prakash, the mind will get everything that it desires. But instead, what happens? Look, all the things that you want, are they for the mind or the body? So if they're for the body, why is the mind doing the negotiation? It's Waheguru's job to take care of the body. But yet the mind is doing the negotiation. It says, their masks of falsehood and hypocrisy shall fall off. The self-willed manmukhs speak with insipid words. That's why what happens is people go ahead, they come to Gurdwara, they do the negotiation with Waheguru to the Langar Hara. What happens? Nindya, chugli, gossip, slandering. They speak bad about other people. Why? Because what were they doing in the Darbar Hall? Negotiations. Because they don't have faith in God. They're self-centered. Everything has to be about them. They want Vaho Vaho for themselves. They don't want Vaho Vaho for Waheguru. Okay? So, how devoted should you be? You want to be a sevak of Waheguru? You want to be a servant? You want to learn how to do seva selflessly? You want to go ahead and do it without any agendas? How devoted should you be? I would rather be cut apart by a saw than have you turn your back on me. Hug me close and listen to my prayer. I am sacrificed to you. Please turn your face to me, O my beloved Lord. Why have you turned your back on me? Why have you killed me? That means that if they don't see Waheguru, is above Kabir's Bani, you don't see Waheguru, it is like being dead. You would rather be cut apart by a saw than not be with Waheguru. Even if you cut my body apart, I shall not put my limbs away from you. Even if my body falls, I shall not make my bonds of love with you. Between you and I, there is no other. You are the husband, Lord, and I am the sole bride. Says Kabir, listen, O people, now I place no reliance in you. In this world, we put all our reliance in what? In Waheguru or people? In Waheguru or people? We put our reliance in our parents. We put our reliance in our siblings. We put our reliance in our family, husbands, wives, children. In the end, in this world, no one will go with you, Gurbani tells us. The only place you need to put your faith is in what? Waheguru. You cannot put your faith into two boats. You won't get anywhere. You have a choice. You put your faith in Waheguru, or you put your faith in the world. That's why you question the existence of God. Is because you put your faith in something else other than Waheguru. What does it say? 3 things why you don't have faith. You don't do japna. That means you don't do Waheguru Guru Mantra jap. Guru. Guru. Second thing is you don't believe in Satguru. Third thing is you have no love for Nam. These 3 things are the reason why you lack faith. Now, let's look at our behavior. It says, he obtains 10 things and puts them behind him. For the sake of one thing withheld, he forfeits his faith. What is this? You have all these things. Look at all the nice things you have. You have a good job. You have a husband. You have a wife. You have loving parents. You have a nice house. You have a good car. You live in a nice society. If Waheguru takes away one thing, what happens? You start complaining. This is the nature. How many people here start complaining? How many of you start complaining? But what? if that one thing we're not given and the other 10 were taken away? Then what could the fool say or do? O Lord and Master, cannot be moved by force, unto whom bow forever in adoration. That one unto whom the mind God seems so pleased, all pleasures come to abide in his mind. Okay, so basically all we do is complain. We say, Waheguru, you didn't give us this one thing. We begged. We wanted this thing to happen. Now it didn't happen. Now I'm mad at you. Happened to you? Yes or no? Happens all the time to people. That's why they come and do their negotiation. It says, God, the banker, gives endless capital to the mortal who eats, drinks, and expends it with pleasure and joy. Look, let's be realistic. People come here all the time with their money problems. This is what Waheguru. You say, Waheguru, I have this problem. I want this. I want this. I want that. Let's say you say, I want $1 million. Waheguru says, how about all the rest of the money in your bank account? Did you spend it yet? If you didn't spend that money, how's Waheguru going to give you more? Look what it says. It says, God the banker. When you come to a banker, you try to impress a banker. You say, oh, look, I need capital. I need capital to go ahead and run my business. I need to go ahead and do something. What's our capital? Gurbani says, Nantan is the capital. But you have to go ahead and do it in such a way with pleasure and joy. You can't go ahead and just expend it in a way that's stupid. You have to do it in a way that's smart. It says, if some of this capital is later taken back by the banker, the ignorant person shows his anger. God gives you all of this stuff to enjoy in the world. But the moment that a little bit is taken back, what happens? You become angry. So this isn't what I used to have. When Waheguru gives you a gift, your job is to enjoy it. Okay? Now it says, he himself destroys his own credibility, and he shall not be trusted again. You get angry at God one time, you know what happens? There's no more trust. You lost all your credibility. If Waheguru get mad at God from this moment on, no. You will lose all your trust and credibility with Waheguru. Okay. When one offers to the Lord that which belongs to the Lord, what here belongs to Waheguru? Everything. What belongs to us? Nothing. So offer something that belongs to Waheguru. This is what happened. And you do this according to his hukum, according to his order. The Lord will make him happy 4 times over. O Nanak, our Lord and Master, is merciful forever. Now look at the beginning of this. This is in Sukhmani 7. In the beginning, it says, Waheguru goes ahead and you ask for one thing. He goes ahead and takes away and he doesn't give you that thing. You become upset. No, it says, no, what if he took away everything? But now look what it says at the end of the Puri. It says, give him everything. And will you be left with nothing or 4 times more? 4 times more. That means any effort you put towards Waheguru, it will be treated as 4-fold. If you put this one swas to saying, Waheguru, and you listen with Dhyan, it's worth 4-fold. That's why in Kali Yuga, it's easy to get to Nam. The hard part is getting rid of your home because you've had it for so long. So let's take advice from those who have faith. Okay, great men speak the teachings by relating them to an individual situations, but the whole world shares in them. That means what happens is look how great Satguru Sri Guru Granth Sahib is. It's so great because it shares individual situations. We all know these situations in our own personal life, and it explains through those situations and everyone can understand. One who becomes Gurmukh knows the fear of God and realizes his own self. If by Guru's grace, one remains dead while alive, the mind becomes content in itself. Those who have no faith in their own minds, O Nanak, how can they speak of spiritual wisdom? 3 things prevent you from having faith. What are they? The first one is what? Japna. Second thing, what prevents you from having faith? You have no faith in? Satguru. Third thing you don't have faith in is what? No love for Nam. If people say there's no Gur Mantar, there's no need to say it. Do they have faith in God? Yes or no? No. If people go ahead and say there's no Nam, Do they have faith in God? Yes or no? Do they have faith in Guru Granth Sahib? Do they have any gyan? Any knowledge? No, because we know gyan begins at nad. Okay? It says, now you want to be a sevik? Look at what this says. And you should go ahead and learn how to do this. It says, I serve the Lord of the universe. I have no other work to do. Is your 100% effort made towards Waheguru? Yes or no? Look what it says. I serve the Lord of the universe. I have no other work to do. Night and day, my mind is in ecstasy. What's the reward of the seva? Is you will be in Anand. You'll be in Nirvana. It says, as Gurmukh, I beg for this bliss-giving Nam. It says, from the mind itself, mental faith is obtained. Through the Guru, I have realized the Shabad. That means through Guru Mantra, you realize the Anhadabani. How rare is the person who looks upon life and death alike? She shall never die again, and shall not have to see the messenger of death. You want to overcome death? You want to live in Anand while alive? You want to go ahead and overcome this Janam Maran? What do you have to do? Serve who? Do you go ahead and do what Gurbani says? It says, Ram Simar e tere kache. It means your job is to do what? Simran. People treat Waheguru like a toy. They think it's something just to be discussed, something to think about, and then to be left behind. They don't understand because they don't have faith in Waheguru. Okay? In serving Waheguru, you will not be deficient of anything. You will get everything. It says, one who is protected by the Creator Lord cannot be harmed, no matter how much the whole world may try. That means the whole world might try to on you, anyone hurt you. No. I take my inspires Nanak. The self-willed Manmukhs will all fail, while the Gurmukhs will always win. Gurmukhs will always win in the end. Why? Because do they have faith in Waheguru or do they have faith in people? Waheguru. They have faith in Nam, they have faith in people. Nam. Do they have faith in Satguru Sri Guru Granth Sahib or do they have faith in people? Satguru. Okay? Why do you lack faith? It's because of your what? Your home. You don't do the japna. You don't love the Nam. You don't do seva of the Satguru because what happens? Because of your home. You like what you like to do. You don't like to do what Guru wants you to do. Give over your whole life, your whole being, everything to Waheguru, and you will see you will get what? Just everything in this world or 4 times more. People always worry about things. Why are you worried? It says over there in Gurbani, it says, give everything to God and you get what? 4 times more. Why are you worried? You're worried because you still have home. You think you're doing it. That's why you need to do your japna. Okay, let's do 1 minute of Simran. Let's close our eyes. Let's do Saskara Simran. Let's repeat Guru Mantra in our head and out loud with our mouth. You have to listen to it. It says, Sune dukh paap ka, dukh and paap run away when you do Guru Mantra jap and you listen to it. Wah Guru, Wah Guru, Wah Guru, Wah Guru, Wah Guru, Wah Guru, Wah Guru. Wah Guru, 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 Wah Guru. वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी